Hey, Dr. Ledford here. So in this video, I'm going to do a recap of this last week. So January 25th to February 1st. And this video is a little different than normal videos. Again, it's a recap of this last week. And I want to look at some leadership trends this past week. Leadership articles and things that you may find useful to your daily life. So let's get into it. All right, so like I said, this week I'm starting a new video. I don't want to call it a series because I don't think that's really what it's going to be, but I do want to highlight some themes and some ideas that I've seen this past week that can be beneficial to your daily life. One place that I find a lot of influence and a lot of encouragement is a email list, and it's called From the Green Notebook. And it's by Joe Byerly, and he sends out this newsletter every week, and it usually is on the Sunday, so the Sunday email is what he calls it, and he goes through a topic, and I'll actually do a screenshot of what that email looks like, but he talks about a certain topic. A couple years ago he did a series of discussions, and it was on kind of like the Odyssey, the book from long ago, and that theme that was the Odyssey, and he related it to his own life and really cool connections that he produced. So, but with that, the Sunday email that he produces, again from the Green Notebook, go take a read, go take a look on their website. Awesome resource to find encouragement, to find motivation, to find practices that can support your daily discipline and daily habits and make you more successful overall, and support those that you work with. He does send out some articles, and he talks about new episodes from his podcast, but he also gives you a breakout of almost 20 articles for that week that you can go and take a look at for yourself. I want to highlight a couple of them just to see, give you a taste of what he provides. Again, it's it's not endorsed, it's not plugged. I'm not affiliated by any means with this, but I think it is a great resource that you can add to your toolbox so that you can continue to grow and support those that you work with and that you live life with. So one of the articles that he highlighted was called A Leader's True North. Start with the golden rule. Yeah, that golden rule. So the golden rule being that do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And so with that in mind, they essentially used that idea to help them understand aspects of their own life and their own leadership journey. So again, that's one article that I just wanted to highlight from his newsletter. The other one talks about the year worth of reading that he did. So what books taught me about life in 2025. He lists a big chunks of books that he went through. His first lesson he does talk about is beliefs are everything. And I've talked about this in a couple of other my videos, where if you don't have values and beliefs and you don't find what they are and actually put them into practice, then you're just kind of floating around. You're not really focused. And so beliefs are everything. The second lesson he learned was history doesn't repeat, but it does instruct. That's a good nugget there to think about. We always hear that history does repeat itself, and his lesson was it may not actually repeat itself, but it definitely instructs what you do, and so it can influence your decision making, good and bad. And then the third lesson he talks about is power is a force to be wielded carefully. And in a couple more weeks, one of the videos I'll be posting is about leadership and the fact that it's not status, but rather it's a responsibility. Leadership is a responsibility, and so you need to wield power carefully because it is a force. You need to understand the impacts that it can have on you. And then he just lists his books that he read each month, and it talks about he talks about each one of them and what they were, and goes through that list of it. So great list of books that you could even look at for your reading lesson 26 and going forward. Another article, he goes through the fact that education without execution causes some issues. So he highlighted an individual that talked about their experience in a professional leadership, professional education setting. The fact that you spend years and years of effort learning and gathering more data and finding knowledge, all to not even apply it. So that's a big one. I've seen that in various times in my life where I'm just devouring information, but what do I do with that information? If I'm not applying it somewhere or sharing it, then it's useless, basically. And then the last one I want to highlight is it's called "The View We Never Get." And this was an article from November, but and he posted it in his most recent newsletter, and it's from him directly, Joe Byerly, and he goes through the idea of the view we never get. And this reminds me of a leadership event, a leadership session, a professional development session that my colleagues and I hosted this past week on our work area, and we had a decent turnout. I mean, it wasn't a ton of people that turned out, but it is what it is. It happens. But we had a panel of 6 individuals, 6 members, and they ranged from experience from 15 years all the way to darn near 40 years of experience in the leadership realm. And they talked through their experiences. What the leadership session was really about was reverse mentorship. And so what we coined it as is a Q&A session that the audience provided their questions, and it was focused around junior members that are younger in the workforce, and their perspective of what things matter to them, what questions they have about their life and their work ethic, and how do you navigate this new assignment, and all the things with young members in a professional setting. So we had a Q&A session, and it turned out really, really successful. I think it was a great opportunity to listen to questions that we don't always get, right? We don't always listen to those members that we, whether we lead them or managing a program that they're a part of. Ideally, you don't manage people, you lead people, but there are managers out there. And this can be useful and helpful for you. Take a poll of your people. Take a poll, a survey of what it is that they're thinking about. What do they care about, right? Do you even know what's on their mind? Do you even know the things that keep them up at night, that bother them? And so that's what we did. We took a panel, and we had an audience out there, and they asked questions for about an hour. And our panel members were able to go through that, and they answered from their experience. Again, we caveated everything with, hey, this is just one person's experience with that topic. And so here's what I did. Here was how I was successful, but here's also where we failed. I did this thing and it wasn't successful. Learn from that. So that was a really cool opportunity. And so that's reminding me that the view we never get, if we don't ask questions, we're not going to get the perspectives. If we don't know the things that our people care about, the ones that are in our care, what they care about and what they think about, then we're not going to get those perspectives. We're not going to get those viewpoints. So that was a big one. I really enjoyed that session. And then there's another newsletter that I get. It's called Military Mentors. Really cool organization, really cool program. I highly recommend you taking a look at that. And it's really focused on mentorship overall. It's in the name, Military Mentors. And again, they give a newsletter out, and what they do is they highlight a couple different things. They talk through what mentorship is a lot of times, how to get better at it, what tools you can use. That is the weekly recap, January 25th through February 1st. And like I said, this is going to go through kind of leadership topics for the week, and what are some things that I found useful. And I'll do my best to link all the things in the description as well, so you can go through them. But the 2 that I talked about was from the Green Notebook, take a listen, a watch, or read. And then Military Mentors, another great opportunity, great resource to further your development. So if you liked this video and you found it useful for you, please like and subscribe. If you have comments, please list them below, and we can continue this conversation in the comments section. So as always, be faithful and be trustworthy.